Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm going to be testing EarthFall on the GeForce GTX 1050 Ti. For performance monitoring, I'll be using CAM. If you want to download the software, there's a link down in the description. So EarthFall, I'll be doing 1080p, 900p, 720p and 1440p. To skip those sections of the video, check the timestamps down in the description. So first of all, I'll show you 1080p using the G4560, targeting 60 frames per second. This is just to show you that the G4560 is enough to maintain that frame rate. Cranking up the settings here just leads to more GPU usage. In this case, the CPU will be affected if we had higher frame rates. So if you want to use maximum settings, it will be the same on this and the i3-8100. Because we are GPU bound. And well, so far it was enough to maintain 60 the big majority of the time. When there are a ton of enemies on screen, the CPU usage rises, and I noticed the game a little more unstable using the G4560, but nothing major. You wouldn't notice a huge difference unless you're looking at them side by side. Then I switched to the i3-8100 and I show you the same settings, targeting 60 frames per second on 1080p. Then I crank it up to the max to see what frame rate we get. And then on 900p I do the exact same thing. I first show you my 60 FPS configuration, and then I crank it up to the max. Then I switch to 720p and I show you max settings. In this case it's enough to maintain over 60 frames per second. And finally at 1440p it was impossible to maintain constant 60 frames per second, so I just show you configuration to be over 30 frames per second as much as possible without killing the look of the game that much, and that was pretty much it. So well, in the options menu we have usually the same options as Unreal Engine 4 games, so it's been a very similar experience to other games in order to tweak it. First of all, I lower shadows. I usually lower them to medium. If you go below medium you have no shadows, so on low there are no shadows at all. My recommendation here, if you're trying to get 60 frames per second, just lower it to medium. Then the post-process option. Lowering this option doesn't have a huge performance uplift unless you lower it to the low setting. Medium, high and epic on post-process don't make much of a difference in performance, but once you lower it to low, it is a massive FPS boost. That's because when you put low, ambient occlusion is completely disabled. So yeah, keep that in mind. If you don't mind ambient occlusion being turned off and you want a good FPS boost, just lower post-process to low. And those are the two major options that I would just keep in mind if I want better performance. On effects quality, if you lower it below high, you won't have screen space reflections. So in some places where there's water, you have some screen space reflections, including your weapons. So if you put effects quality below high, you won't have any screen space reflections. Lowering that is a small FPS boost depending on where you are. And then the other options I didn't mention, just lower them in groups. That should give you a decent FPS boost if the other options are already lowered to the minimum. And that's pretty much the options menu. Not really hard to tweak. You just lower shadows and post-process from the get-go, and on most cards that's the best results. And well, the parts where I got the worst performance were when there were a ton of enemies on screen. The enemies that throw acid at you or something like that, especially places with a lot of trees, a lot of grass, all that kind of stuff. But yeah guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you keep enjoying the video. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
I'm pinched! Get it off! Pressure down!
Combat rifle here! Set up the barricade. Ready! I see a whiplash!
Pressure! Stop shooting me, fool! I'm pinched! Get it off! Hang on, reloading!
This is the right place, but looks like the wrong building. Let's check around. This must be Zippy's house, not his storage business. Let's keep looking. Combat rifle here! There's a path there. Pry those boards off.
Oh, I can feel the energy inside.
There's a combat rifle here! Barricade ready! We're gonna draw a crowd!
There's a sapper! What else can you do?
Reloading!
Let's see, we're fire!
Gotta reload!
That's the place Danny tracked down. He said it's a totally ordinary house. I'm sure there's an answer around here somewhere.
Reloading! Help me up, please.
To get back up to.
Med kit here! Putting CT. There's a path there. Try those boards off. Get up! I need a hand!
Hey, pal, let's get you up.
That roadblock looks like a pain. Let's check the house. Let's find a way out.
Whiplash now!
Reloading!
Med kit over here!
Sapper!
Assault shotgun here! Combat rifle here! Set up the barricade. Ready!
Hang on, reloading!
Get it off me! Whiplash! Stay together! Cody! We're covered!
Oxygen laser!
I'm hurt real bad!
Get up! Get up!
It's all good!
You're the best.
This is the right place, but looks like the wrong building. Let's check around. This must be Zippy's house, not his storage business. Combat rifle here! There's a path there.
Gotta reload! There's an enrager! Take it out! Crash that enrager! That's the address Danny had. It's a house, not a storage unit. Let's see what's up. I bet this is where City is, not where the storage unit was. Let's keep searching. Combat rifle, here for the taking!
Resistance crate over here.
Fire axe over here. We need to get past those boards. Find the tool and get the hatch.
Get!
Killed that creep.
Combat rifle, here for the taking. Barricades up. It's going to be noisy. Sapper down! That's the address Danny had. It's a house, not a storage unit. Let's see what's up. I bet this is where Zippy lived, not where his storage business was. Let's keep searching.
Thresher.
Combat rifle, here for the taking.
Help! Get it off!
I am standing right here! Don't shoot me!
We need to get past those boards. Get the hatch. Beast! Bring it down fast! address Danny had. It's a house, not a storage unit. Let's see what's up.
I figured it out. This isn't Zippy's storage, it's just Zippy's house. Found the back exit. Put those boards right off.
Danny, do I look like an alien? Shoot them!
We've got an Ranger. Ranger is toast. I'm pinned. Set it off.
Take that! Hang in there until I do.